The places worth clinging to are the places nobody quite knows what to do with. That's where the life is. That's why we should feel lucky. What we want and what we need seems to have the power to last. We can't count on it, even if most other people can't even notice that it exists. God, in His infinite wisdom, has created places like Sedona and Santa Fe as sacrifice areas. Out here in nowhere, we are lucky. Nothing happens. Progress seems nil, but we have a future.
Charles Bowden began his career as a crime reporter. Eventually, he began to write himself into a myriad of his works, and he wrote about a wide variety of things. Women were a specialty of his. In one such piece called Torch Song, At the Peripheries of Love and Desire, Bowden wrote, "I can't tell much from her silhouette. She's sitting off to one side, her shoulders hunched, and toward the front is the box with the teddy bears. Or at least, I think they're teddy bears. Almost 20 years have passed, and I've avoided thinking about it. There are some things that float pretty free of time, chronology, the book of history, and the lies of the experts. In the early 80s, I went to a funeral as part of my entry into a world, a kind of border crossing.
The way I was trained up, reporters went toward the story, just as firemen rush toward the fire. It is a duty. But because it captures the rage and energy that makes me love my country, the high-stepping, hog-calling, high-hopping style that never rests, the blues bleeding out of Mississippi and the salsa marches, wailing so soulfully out of West Point, and the constant flood of elevator music rising ominously above the leaves. The lack of ease, the need for black coffee, hard liquor, support bras and automatic weapons, the pedal to the metal, freeway love at 3 a.m., and hold the mail. Her life has not been simple lately. She is distancing herself. We go back to the bedroom, and she rolls over on her stomach. She says very softly, "Yes." Somewhere in those hours, my second marriage ends. I know why. I tend to say yes. The marriage ends because I do not want to live with her anymore. Because she is a good and proper person, and this now feels like a cage. I do not want to leave my work at the office. I do not want to leave my work at all.
Women became a focus of his work, especially during the 15 years that he spent writing about the violence along the border between Mexico and the United States of America. In a piece called While You Were Sleeping, he described an image of a woman that came up in a slideshow that a Mexican photographer had put together. Her body, rotted and mummified by the sun, appeared in a photo that never printed, but that Bowden held onto for the rest of his career. He wrote, "The head is tilted and the face is smooth with craftsmanship. The hair is long and black. It takes a moment for me to get past this beauty and realize that the face is not a mask. She is a 16-year-old girl with a forgotten name. She was found in the park by a bridge linking Juarez to El Paso. The park on both sides of the Rio Grande is dedicated to friendship between the two nations. The girl's skin has blackened in the sun and the face contracted as it mummified." Jaime explains that the newspaper refused to publish this photograph. The reason for this decision is very loud. The lips of the girl pull back, revealing her clean white teeth. Sound pours forth from her mouth. She is screaming and screaming and screaming.
That he died in his sleep, and not at the hands of the cartels or the coyotes, or dirty cops on either side of the border, is something. There were times when he'd sit with his back to the door and travel with a former member of the Federales for protection. But in the end, it wasn't one of the long line of people he'd pissed off and laid bare that finished him off. A flu likely did, probably with the help of hard living, the chain smoking, and the sequential all-nighters, and the alternating binges of black coffee and red wine. Charles Bowden was 69.